komentarišem.
I wish to make a comment.
Pretpostavljam da ste mi I to pravo dali.
I assume that you have given me that right as well.
Čuli od tužioca.
I would like to comment on these proposals that we've heard from the prosecution. And also, I would like to make a comment on the comment made by one of the amici. I think that I quite understand what the other side wants, the one that submitted this false indictment. That side wants to organize the work of both sides, both parties. They even want to organize the work of the trial chamber with this idea of some kind of a document that is supposed to serve the interests of all three sides, and that one side will hold and manage, and in this way it is already in a position to hold an entire machinery in their own hands, as opposed to the other side that has been denied its right to defend itself, so they even want to improve upon their already advantageous position. We have heard yesterday from the explanations provided by the prosecutor that I practically bother them here by everything I've been doing and saying here. Now I see that they're bothered by the existence of the trial chamber as well, because they want to give instructions to the trial chamber as to how they are going to judge the authenticity of what they have been presenting. In this way, they wish to compensate for the fact that their evidence is totally amiss. These are false witnesses. Even Judge Robinson, as far as I have understood things, made a comment to the effect that the prosecutor went too far by making such a submission. I should say that this is putting it very mildly when commenting upon what the prosecutor has done. It is quite clear that with this idea, the prosecutor wants the prosecution to take over for both parties. That is to say, to take over my function as well, and perhaps even yours, that of the trial chamber. Perhaps the best thing would be if all would refrain from their activities whatsoever, and that the prosecution simply pronounce their ruling, their decision on the basis of all these verbal resources that are being used to deny material facts. In order to make a comparison to what they have been doing, Osama bin Laden could bring you as many witnesses also from Kosovo and Metohija who could swear that they saw with their own eyes George Bush throwing grenades and bombs on Pentagon and the White House. Verbal resources cannot be used to altogether annul something that has been seen by the entire world. This cannot annul the activities of the KLA or the NATO aggression, especially not in this way in which the prosecutor has been working with his ambition.
Mr. Milosevic, I'm going to stop you now. You've made your point. In fact, we had already ruled that we are not going to look at that document. What we've said is this: the prosecution can produce the document at the end of the proceedings when it will be part of their submissions to the trial chamber. That is all it will be. And the fears you've expressed, you need have no trouble about. The trial chamber are not going to look at it. Thank you very much. Let's hear the witnesses now.
Morning.
One matter Judge Robinson wants to raise.
Mr. Milosevic, you remember yesterday I commended Mr. Topuskovich for the role that he played in cross-examining a witness on the witness statement. I commended him because he was endeavoring to pinpoint in the witness statement information or evidence which tended to contradict what the witness said in court. Now, he did that because you have taken the position not to read the witness statement, and that's your right. But I want to suggest to you that your interest would be better served by reading the witness statements, which are in fact not very long. For this reason, the witness statements will quite often contain information and evidence which might contradict what is said in court. And you would be in a better position to make better use of that contradiction than the amicus curiae, for the very simple reason that you have more information about the matters than the amicus. So I want to leave it to you for your consideration that in the interest of your defense, you would be well advised to read the witness statements in putting forward your case before us. You know?
Yes, we'll call the witness.
The prosecution calls Besnik Sokoli.
Let the witness take the declaration.
I solemnly declare that I will speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, if you'd like to take a seat.
Mr. Sokoli, can you please state your full name to the court?
My name is Besnik Sokoli.
Sir, you were born on the 2nd of September 1977 in Peja, is correct?
Yes.
What's your current profession?
I'm a professional translator.
Where do you work?
At the moment, I'm working for the UNMIK police.
Where did you work before?
During 1998, I worked for the US KDOM Observer, then for the OSCE, and after the war, I worked for the ICTY.
What was your work for the ICTY?
I worked as a field interpreter for the ICTY.
Mr. Sokol, can you briefly describe to the court where Peja is located?
Peja ndodhet në pjesën perëndimore të Kosovës.
Peja is in the west of Kosovo
dhe është i kufizuar në dy anë me Maltezi.
And borders on
fshatrat kështu të më të afërt janë
Montenegro.
Raušići,
The nearest villages are Raušić and Vitomirica.
What was the ethnic composition of Peja before March 1999?
Unë besoj prafërsisht aty 90% kanë qenë shqiptarë.
I believe that about 90% were Albanians.
Mrs. Sokoli, how would you describe the situation in Peja or near Peja during the summer 1998 until March 1999?
It was very tense, especially after certain incidents that happened. And as a staff member for the OSCE, I suffered some mistreatment. And the Serbs who lived in Peja attacked OSCE cars.
I will stop you for a minute. Mr. Sokoli, let's go back to when you started saying that it was tense because certain incidents. Can you describe what kind of incidents?
I
don't remember the exact dates, but I think it was December. And there was an incident when 6 Serbs were killed in a cafe.
Do you know who killed the Serbs?
No, I don't know. But according to rumors that I've heard, there was a certain argument among the Serbs themselves.
And what was the argument?
No.
I think you didn't understand my question, Mr. Sokoli. Do you know what was the argument that they were exchanging among themselves?
I don't know.
So, what happened after these incidents?
Until that incident, we went to work more freely. I'm talking of myself. But after this incident, the observers had to come and fetch us from our homes, and we were shut up in our homes.
At that time, you were working for the KVM mission?
The OSCE.
At that time, was the Serb army present in Peja during 1998 and before March 1999?
Yes, there was the police together with the army.
And what was the police and the army doing together?
I don't know how to reply. They were there, as I said. There was some mistreatment of the Albanian population by Serbian civilians, and there were also excesses in which the police and the army mistreated Albanian citizens.
Do you remember, or can you tell the court an example of any
For example, the day after the incident I described earlier, in the center of Peja, a lot of Albanians were beaten by Serbian civilians, and the police were present but didn't intervene in any way at all.
So, colleague, were you or any members of your family associated to the KLA at any time?
No.
And was the KLA present in your town?
I wasn't aware that the KLA was in the city of Peja, and the only information I have about the KLA I obtained from the media and the television. They were mostly deployed among the hills and the villages.
Do you remember seeing them coming to the town? I mean, to Peja?
No, not before the war.
And after the war?
Yes, I saw them. I saw members of the KLA after the war.
Do you know about fights between the Serb forces and the KLA during 1998?
Yes.
Have you witnessed any of these fights?
No.
So how did you become aware of the fights?
Through the media.
What kind of media?
I think news, such as the BBC and Euronews, and so forth.
So I will turn right now to the 24th of March, when the NATO bombing started in Kosovo. Where were you at that time?
At this time, I was at home.
In Peja?
Yes, in Peja.
And was Peja hit or bombed at that day?
Not to my knowledge.
Where were you on the next day of NATO bombing, on the 25th of March?
I was still at home on that day.
Were you alone at home?
No, I was with my family and also with the Bobby family, my neighbors.
How many people in total in your house?
10.
Did you leave your house?
I left my home on 28th of March, Sunday.
So, while you were at your home on the 25th of March, what did you see or hear?
On the 24th and 25th, it was relatively calm, but on the evening of the 25th and on the 26th and 27th, there was shelling in a neighborhood near my neighborhood called Zadra, and I saw several houses burning.
You could see this from your house?
Yes.
Did you see the shelling?
I saw flames and the glow from the shelling.
Is there any time you leave your house?
On the 27th of March, my father went to the gate of the house and saw the police who were there with an APC, as he told me. And on the next day, in the morning, on the 28th, I went to the gate and I didn't see anybody, not even my neighbors, and we decided to leave.
What was the reason why your neighbors went away? What was the situation at that time?
I don't know why they left, but at that time I was very scared, and I was frightened to remain there with my family.
So you remained in your house for 2 days, and you said that on the 28th of March you left. So can you describe what happened on the 28th of March?
On the 28th of March, Sunday, we went together, my family and the Borby family went to my aunt's house in another part of the city, in a neighborhood called Cemal Kada, and we went through the lanes so that the police and army wouldn't see us.
And while you were heading to this place, what did you see or hear?
I noticed a large police presence, burned houses, looted broken shops, and all their property stolen.
Mr. Colley, let's go back to the point that you mentioned, large police presence. How many policemen did you see at that time?
I can't give a number because they were always moving, but I would say more than 50.
And how were they dressed? Did they have uniforms?
Yes, they were in uniforms.
Can you describe the uniform?
It was a blue camouflage uniform.
Did they have any insignia or patch?
On the left arm, they had Militia written.
Can I please have the witness shown exhibit number 18? Mr. Colley, I'll ask you to look at this series of photos and indicate to the court if you find any uniforms similar to the ones you saw at that day.
It was this one, number 6.
Thank you. It's fine. Yeah. Were they armed?
Yes.
Can you describe the weapons?
Roughly, yes.
Can I again have the witness shown exhibit 21 this time? Sorry. Mr. Colley, please, if you can, take a look in this series of photos and indicate if you can identify any of the weapons that you saw them carrying at that time. Which number is that?
Numri 3.
Number 3
Do me thonë gjejshëm se nuk jam
is similar to that, but I'm unable to define it more exactly.
Oh, that's fine, Mr. Colley. So it's number 3 from sheet B?
Po.
Yes.
Thank you.